So today we are going to discuss about a chapter. Its name is thermodynamics. What is the meaning of dynamics? Dynamics means it's the motion, all about motion of a body. Under a force. But the title is thermodynamics, means it refers to motion of the heat or heat energy. Motion of heat or heat energy. So it is the branch of physics which deals with the motion of heat or heat energy from one point to the another point, and it relates the conversion of heat energy to mechanical energy. It is a branch of physics which explains the relationship between heat energy to the mechanical energy. So what we can understand from this definition is, when a heat energy is traveling from system to surroundings or surrounding to system, it will be converted as a mechanical verse. That means it does some work. So in this lesson, we are going to discuss with the motion of thermal energy or nothing but the heat energy via thermodynamic variables. What are those thermodynamic variables? Thermodynamic variables are some physical quantities which are varies with the time, while some temperature or heat energy is flowing through a system to surroundings or surroundings to system. Those are pressure, volume and temperature. In the definition, we are saying that when these three physical quantities will change, when some heat energy is passing. If heat energy is passing, it always travels from high temperature to low temperature. We know this from the basic definition. But in this chapter, we are dealing the high temperature body is called as system. The low temperature body we are calling as surroundings. So what we can say, what is said to be a system? It is a portion of matter with some boundaries. What is the meaning of surroundings? The blank or the portion which is left behind or after the system is called surroundings. The blank or space which is left behind the system is called surroundings. So always from system to surroundings and surroundings to system, there is a possibility for the traveling of heat energy via variation in the pressure, variation in the volume and variation in the temperature. Now we are going to discuss about the thermodynamic equilibrium. Equilibrium means maintaining constant. Thermodynamic equilibrium means when some temperature or when heat energy is passing from system to surroundings by crossing the all thermodynamic variables. These all thermodynamic variables should be fixed or should be constant. Then the system is said to be under the thermodynamic equilibrium. So what is the clear definition of this thermodynamic equilibrium? It is said to be like this. When the thermodynamic variables are fixed to a value and independent of time and are of independent of time, they are called, and they are in the thermodynamic equilibrium. The next equilibrium to be discussed in this chapter is mechanical equilibrium, because in this chapter we are dealing with the thermodynamic process to the mechanical energy. So we should know the thermodynamic equilibrium as well as mechanical. So mechanical equilibrium. When there are no unbalanced forces between system and surroundings, then we can say that system and surroundings are in the mechanical equilibrium. Mechanical forces are same, should be same on either ends. But here it is not a body, it is a department. Or we can say that a system to surrounding department. So via the department and throughout the department, the forces should be same. So if there are no unbalanced forces, then between the system and surroundings, then they are in mechanical equilibrium. The last one is thermal equilibrium. The all parts in the system and surroundings are maintaining at the same temperature or constant temperature for a time dependent, then the entire system we can say in the thermal equilibrium. If all parts are maintained at same temperature, then the system and surroundings are in thermal equilibrium. Suppose system is at P1, V1, T1, surroundings are at P2, V2, T2. Thermal equilibrium means we can say T1 is equal to T2, but based on the different laws of the gases, we can say that pressure is directly proportional to temperature. but pressure is inversely proportional to volume. If pressure is directly proportional to the temperature, if T1 is equal to T2, we can say that P1 also equal to P2. Therefore, P1 by P2 is equal to T1 by T2, but that is equal to V2 by V1. This is the equation based on the different gas laws to explain the thermal equilibrium. The next concept was zeroth law of thermodynamics. So what is this statement for the zeroth law? For this purpose, we should take some three systems or three bodies. Let us take bodies A, B and C. A comma B comma C. Take any two bodies or take any two bodies. We can say AB, we can say AC, or we can say BC also. I am taking AB. This is body A, this is body B. These two are separated by a wall, and this is the body C. This hole was fixed in a system. So what we can say is, if two systems individually thermally in equilibrium with the third system, or if two bodies are maintaining the thermal equilibrium state with the third body individually, then the two bodies are also in the thermal equilibrium. So we can say the repeated, if two bodies are individually in thermal equilibrium with the third system, then those two bodies are also in thermal equilibrium. So we can say that this is zeroth law. Why it is called as zeroth law? We can say that the starting number is always 1. No one starts from the 0. Why it is called as zeroth law means, if two bodies are in the thermal equilibrium, the temperature difference between them is 0. That's why further recognition, this law is stated as zeroth law. So what is the statement? If two systems or two bodies are in thermal equilibrium, with the third system individually, then those two systems are in thermal equilibrium. So we can say that temperature A is equal to temperature C and temperature B is also equal to temperature C. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. The RHS of those two equations are same, so then we can equate the LHS of those two equations. So correspondingly we can say that temperature of A is equal to temperature of B. Sometimes this case is an assumption, but mostly it is possible to prove. This is the statement for the zeroth law of thermodynamics. If this is the case, Ta minus Tb is equal to 0, Tb minus Tc is equal to 0, as well as Ta minus Tc is also 0. That's why it is also called 0th law of thermodynamics. Now we are discussing the definition of heat and temperature in the view of thermodynamics. The general view of heat is it is a form of energy which is passing from high temperature region to low temperature region. This was the definition what we read in thermal properties of matter. But in case of thermodynamics, this definition is going to change. So what is the definition and what is its change? There are two bodies which are at two different levels of temperature. Based on their temperature difference, some energy will flow from high temperature to low temperature, or we can assume the absence of this body and this whole is called as surroundings. The one which is releasing the energy in a form of heat is system. So there is a transfer of energy from system to surroundings based on their temperature difference is called heat energy. The form of energy which is transferring from system to surroundings on the basis of the temperature difference between them. On the basis or resultant temperature difference between them. So this is called heat energy. So as we know that it is one of the form of energy, that means the units as well as the dimensional formula is same with the normal mechanical energy. Therefore, SI unit of heat energy is joule. The symbol is J, where the CGS unit is calorie. So we know that 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Where the dimensional formula of the heat energy is equal to m L square T power minus 2. It is similar to the dimensional formula of work, energy, torque, such like that. So like this we can define the heat and its differences with respect to the thermal properties of matter. The next one is temperature. Temperature is simply a thermal condition of a body. Thermal condition means the body is at cool temperature or hot temperature relatively when compared to the other. This is said to be thermal condition. So this thermal condition of a body, which its ability to transfer the heat to the other bodies, is called temperature. So the thermal condition of a body such that its ability to transfer heat to other bodies is called temperature. So the thermal condition is nothing but the hotness or coolness of a body. So it is also called hotness or coolness of a body. as well as it is also measured as hotness or coolness, and we can say this one as amount or degree of hotness or coolness. Where the degree is nothing but the magnitude, the numerical magnitude of the heat energy which is transferred from hot body to cool body. So its unit is, or its SI unit is Kelvin. The symbol is K. CGS unit is Celsius, where degree is Celsius, and we can say that Kelvin is equal to degree Celsius plus 273. As well as the dimensional formula of the temperature is, it is simply based on the K, so it is independent of mass, length and time. Therefore, it is m power 0, L power 0, T power 0, K power 1. So, such like that we can define the temperature and thermal condition of the body. Now, we will discuss the definition of calorie. We can say that the calorie is the CGS unit of heat energy. So, the definition of calorie is such related to the heat energy. So, it is the minimum amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. The amount of energy required to rise the temperature of a body, nothing but 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. The difference between the 14.5 to 15.5 is 1 degree Celsius. So, here it is 1 gram of water. That means it is also defined as the amount of heat energy required to rise the 1 gram of water's temperature by 1 degree Celsius, or the amount of heat energy required to rise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. This is also the definition what we can state for the calorie. So, calorie is CGS unit of energy. We know the definition of joule also. The 1 Newton of force is applied to move the body to 1 meter of distance, that is called joule, and here in the concept of heat energy, this is the definition for calorie. So, what are the points to remember in the comparison of heat and temperature? The body which is at low temperature may possess high heat energy. The body which is at low temperature possess high amount of heat energy. Than the body at high temperature. This is the first point to remember in the comparison of heat and temperature. The second one, if you keep on increasing the temperature, means if you want to increase the temperature of a body, you should supply the heat energy. So, the increase in temperature depends upon the heat energy supplied. These are the main points what we can remember in the comparison of heat and temperature. Next one is Joule's law. Joule, one of the great scientists who has discovered the concept of energy propagation. So he has stated many laws about the energy propagation. Joule's law of heating, Joule's law of cooling, Joule-Kelvin effect, Joule-Thomson effect. Many laws are proposed by the contribution of Joule. But here in this law, he is comparing the work done to the heat energy. So the amount of work done by any system is directly proportional to the amount of heat energy produced by it. The amount of heat energy or the amount of work done by a system. In the place of system, we can keep an engine, a machine, anything. So the amount of heat energy or amount of work done by a system is directly proportional to the amount of heat energy produced by it. So work done is proportional to heat energy. If we remove this proportionality constant, we should replace with this one with W is equal to JH, where J is equal to Joule. What is the definition of this Joule? The Joule definition states that J is equal to W by H. So it is the ratio of the work done to the heat energy supplied. Joule is defined as the ratio of the work done to the heat energy produced or heat energy supplied. Supplied or produced. This is the definition of 1 Joule. So we can say that work done is nothing but the Joule, and heat energy is also one of the units for on the basis of Joule. So W by H is equal to 1 Joule. So we can say that 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Therefore 1 Joule is equal to 1 calorie by 4.2. So like this we can define the Joule and its values. So this J is also called mechanical equivalent. Its value is 4.186 into 10 to the power of 7 erg per calorie. because J is equal to W by H. If we substituted the values, so where heat energy is calorie, where work is ergs, so we can say that this is the value of the joules. So this mechanical equivalent J is also defined as 4.186 joule per calorie. So like this, we can define the mechanical equivalent of a system on the basis of work done to the heat energy supplied. Now we will discuss a numerical based on this concept. So this is the numerical which is based on the concept of the mechanical equivalent or work done in different ways. A boy weighing 42 kg eats bananas whose energy is 980 calories. If this energy is used to go a height h, find the value of h. Suppose a boy, of course the mass of the boy is 42 kg, he is eating some bananas, okay, whose the energy of those bananas is 980 calories. He is utilizing this energy to climb a height. So what must be the height reached by him? Listen, if the bananas are producing this much of energy and this energy should be equal to potential energy of the boy. So therefore, energy gain by eating bananas is equal to potential energy. The energy gained by eating bananas is 980 calories. 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. Therefore, 980 into 4.2 is equal to mgh, where mgh is the potential energy. Therefore, 980 into 4.2 into the mass of the body 42 g 9.8 into h. So 980 by or 980 into 4.2 by 42 into 9.8 is equal to h. This 4.2 in 42 10 times. This 10 into 9.8 is 98. Therefore, 980 by 9.8 into 10 is equal to h. This 9.8 in 98 10 times. Therefore, h is equal to 10 meters. So, the energy which he gained is 980 calories. If he is using the same energy to climb a height, so this must be the height according to the given information. The height reached by the body is 10 meters. The next concept is internal energy. Internal means it which was not shown to the external purpose. Means this internal energy is also called as potential energy of the molecules. Let us take a gas or any substance which contains some finite number of molecules. These all molecules are located at different positions inside the object. Such like this, we can see the arrangement may be of the same size and may not be the same size. If suppose, if this is the arrangement, based on the arrangement and constitution of the molecules, they have some energy. We know that the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position and structure is called potential energy. So if we see this, the energy of the body means this is the first row, second, third, fourth. From this point, the first row elements are at the different height. Second row elements, third row elements are at the different heights. Second row are at the different heights. And the last row is at 0 height. So let us say some capital H, H, H dash, H double dash like that. So if these are the heights of the molecules from the bottom of the object, based on their height or nothing but the position possessed by them, they have some energy. This energy is called potential energy, but here it is some n number of molecules, not a single molecule. So for the total potential energy, we should add it or multiply with n number, where n is equal to number of molecules. So what we can expect in the definition of internal energy? Internal energy of a system is defined as, it is a form of energy or it is a form of a self potential energy of a given substance which is based on their position and constitution of the molecules. It is defined as the total energy of the molecules with respect to their position and constituents. Position, we can say it as constituent. With respect to the position, each has some potential energy. This is defined as internal energy. This internal energy is also called thermal energy of the body, because if you want to increase the internal energy of the body, we should supply some heat energy from the external source. This external source may be in the form of thermal energy. So once all molecules receive the thermal energy in equal amount, then internal energy turns to the thermal energy of a body. In which case, if all molecules absorbs the whole total energy in equal amounts. So this is the relationship between internal energy and thermal energy. Now we are going to discuss the first law of thermodynamics. So what is the explanation for this? Take an object or take a body which contains some n number of molecules in it, which are arranged in a regular order. Some of the heat energy is given to this system to increase its temperature or to change its state. Some part of this heat energy which was supplied to the body will be utilized to increase its internal energy. In internal energy, some part will be utilized to do work. We have supplied the heat energy. The heat energy symbol is Q, where Q is heat energy. So what is the definition? If some amount of heat energy is supplied to a body, some part of it, the heat energy supplied to a body, some part of it is utilized to increase the internal energy of the system. The remaining part is utilized to do the work. Let us suppose the amount of heat energy supplied to a body or system is called dq. Increase in internal energy, let us suppose the symbol for the internal energy is U, where U is internal energy. And the work is symbol W. So, the equation is dq is equal to du plus dw. Where dq is heat energy supplied, du is increase in heat energy or internal energy, and dw is work done by the system. Some processes are reversible and irreversible. In case of reversible process and in case of irreversible process, this equation may go to the another shape. In case of cyclic process, this equation will go to the another shape. So, what we can expect in this from this equation is we can expect some different situations and the equations related to the different situations. Now, we will see the special cases of the first law of thermodynamics. As we know, the equation dq is equal to du plus dw. If heat energy is supplied to the system, so dq is positive, supplied to the system, because we are adding the heat energy more. If heat energy is lost by any system, then dq is negative in the magnitude, loss in heat energy. If the work done in reverse order to increase the internal energy or to decrease the internal energy, then the work done magnitude will become negative. dw is equal to negative reverse ordered work. This reverse ordered work we can see as an example in the refrigerator's case, and as well as if internal energy is increased, it is du, decreased negative. du is plus when internal energy increases, increase in internal energy. And du is negative, decrease in the internal energy. In the internal energy. If you go to the isolated system means a system which is fixed at one constant positions and independent of the surroundings. There is no transmission or transfer of the heat energy from system to the surroundings, because system was state at isolated state, single system. In this case, there is no possibility to increase the heat energy. That's why dq will become 0. Once the heat energy supplied to the system is 0, automatically the work done will be 0, because we can say from the Joule's law of heating, the work done is directly proportional to the heat energy supplied. If the heat energy supplied or change in the heat energy is 0, automatically the work done or the change in the work done will be 0. Therefore, we can say 0 is equal to du plus 0. So, answer will become du. In case of isolated systems, the total work done is equal to simply the increase or decrease in the internal energy as of the original condition. So, like this we can see the first law of thermodynamics and their special cases. Now, I am going to discuss a numerical which is based on this concept. So, this is the numerical which is based on the concept of first law of thermodynamics. If you see, the content in this numerical is, when a heat energy of 1500 joules is supplied to a gas, the external work done by the gas is 525 joules. What is the increase in its internal energy? So the energy supplied, nothing but the heat energy supplied to the system is 1500 joules. So heat energy supplied is equal to dq is the symbol, therefore it is 1500 joules, which was supplied to a gas, maybe to expand or maybe to compress. So some external work done by the gas. So the work done by the gas dW is equal to 525 joules. Now we should find out the increase in internal energy. Therefore, increase in internal energy du is equal to how much? As we know that dq is equal to du plus dw, and therefore du is equal to dq minus dw. Therefore du is equal to, dq is 1500 joules, dw is 525 joules. If we do the calculation and simplification, we will get 975 joules. So after the subtraction, if you do the subtraction from 1500 to 525, we will get 975 joules. Therefore, 975 joules is the increase in the internal energy of the gaseous system when heat energy supplied to it is 1500 joules. Now we are going to discuss about the applications of the first law of thermodynamics. The one of the application is work done during the expansion of a gas. Let us take a container of a finite volume. This container was filled with some amount of gas. Initially, up to here, gas was filled. Or we can say that some amount of gas was there which was tightly fixed in this volume. There is a piston, a mechanical piston, and this mechanical piston was arranged to compress the gas which was inside the container, like this. This is the piston. When the piston was pressed tightly towards the depth of the container, yes, this is the volume of the gas. Let us say some small v. When we released the piston loosely, then some external force which is in the upward direction acts on the piston while we are releasing it. Then there is a possibility for the expansion of gas. When the gas was expanded during the releasing of the pressure by the piston, then its volume may changes to V plus dV also. So the diagram will be like this. So this dotted lines is the new position of the piston. So the remaining part is, the big dotted lines indicates the volume of the gas which was initially in the container. Maybe the gas may be diluted, means concentration may decrease during the expansion, but volume is increasing. Initial volume is V. Whenever the releasing of the pressure, its volume increases to V plus dV. There is a small change in the volume is dV. Therefore, change in volume during expansion is equal to final volume minus initial volume. Therefore, it is V plus dV minus V. Therefore, it is dV. The change in volume is dV. So, what we can expect? What is the work done to increase the or to expand the gas? Work done to expand the gas is equal to W is equal to F into S, where F is equal to force, S is equal to displacement. So, here the force is on the basis of the pressure applied, because the piston is applying the pressure on the gas molecules. So, we should convert the force on the gas molecule in terms of the pressure. So, therefore, we can write that pressure is equal to force by area. This results to force is equal to pressure into area. The displacement taken by the gas molecules from the first position to the initial position, let us say it is as dx, a small displacement in the expansion. Therefore, we can say S is equal to dx. So, therefore, work done W is equal to, where F is equal to P into A, where S is equal to dx. And we can say that W is equal to P into A into dx, and I am multiplying this area into small displacement. This area into small displacement we can write P dV, because area into displacement is volume. Therefore, there is the work done W. If the work done is during the small displacement, we can write the W as dW is equal to P dV. Therefore, total work done is equal to integral dW is equal to integral P dV from the limits V1 to V2. Therefore, W is equal to P into V2 minus V1. Integral dV will become V between the limits V2 to V1. We can say that according to the ideal gas equation, so what we can write is the ideal gas equation is PV is equal to nRT. But here we got P dV. If volume is variation, under the variation with respect to the temperature, then we can write nR dt also. dV means we are writing P into V2 minus V1 is equal to nR into T2 minus T1. This is nothing but the work done during the expansion. Therefore, work done during the expansion of gas is equal to nR into T2 minus T1. If we see the first law of thermodynamics, we can say dq is equal to du plus dw. Therefore, dq is equal to du plus, where dw is equal to p dv. This is one of the form of the first law of thermodynamics, and with the help of specific heat capacity formula, we can write dq is equal to Tds, because ds is equal to dq by dt. Therefore, Tds is equal to du plus Pdv. This is also one of the form of first law of thermodynamics. The working of this formula means if you want to use this formula to solve any numerical, it depends upon the situation. If work done is given in the concept of pressure and volume, we should use this formula. If heat energy supplied was given in the concept of specific heat and temperature, we should use this formula. So these are the rules what we can get during the work done during the expansion of a gas. Now we will see some of the graphs which are related to the different works. So the graphical representation of work is like this. The first situation is when pressure remains constant. We can say that dW is equal to PdV from the standard theorems, and we are keeping P on y-axis and V on x-axis. So P remains constant, volume is changing. Then the graph will be like this. P on y-axis, V on x-axis. So this V refers from V1 to V2, that because it is changing. Therefore, let us suppose this is V1, this is V2. At V1, same pressure, at V2 also same pressure. So, mostly this graph will occupy the shape of a square. In case of competitive exams, they can ask that if pressure remains constant, what is the shape of the graph? It's simply a square. So what we can understand in this concept is, if pressure remains constant, the graph occupies the shape of square. The area of the square is nothing but the work done during the expansion. Second case, positive work. In case of positive work, volume is related like this. Means final volume should be greater than the initial volume. Therefore, it is like this, where P on the y-axis only, where V2 should greater than V1. This is the direction. This is the graph for the positive work. So if we draw the slope like this, then it is occupying a shape of a square plus almost a tangent of the triangle. The area of this shape will give the work done. Third one is negative work. Exactly opposite to the case of second one. Positive work, final volume should be greater than initial volume, but negative work, final volume should be less than initial volume. Therefore, the graphical nature will be like this, where pressure on y-axis, this is V1, this is V2, the graph will stay downwards. Where V1 is greater than V2. The second case, the next case is if pressure is varying. Means the pressure is changing. In this case, the graph will be like this. This is P, this is V. So it will keep on decreasing. In this arbitrary shape, take any two small intervals which are very close or very close, but the difference is some finite. Then from there, just try to draw towards the x-axis, it touches at the two values. The slope or the area occupied by this shape, the dotted one, the marked one, will give the work done. Suppose it is A, B, C, D, these are E, F. The area under B, C, E, F will give the work done. The next one is cyclic process. Cyclic process means the process should be repeated and it should go to the original place after completing one complete interval. So the graph will be like this. This is pressure, this is volume, expands as well as compress. From there we should draw some perpendiculars towards the x-axis where the volume has taken. So the starting point, let us say A, it is B, it is C, it is D, and these are all E and F. There is the area under ABC and there is the area under CDA, and the total work done under ABCDA is the subtraction between the ABCEF minus ADCEF. The total work done in cyclic process is equal to area under ACEFA minus area under ADCEFA. We can write this one AC as ABCEFA also. Then it will give the total work done on the slope ABCDA. So like this, we can check different graphical designs for the work done in different situations. This is the numerical which is based on the concept of work done during the expansion. A gas expands from 10 liters to 20 liters at a constant pressure of 2 atmospheres. What is the work done by the gas during the expansion? Pressure is equal to 2 atmospheres. We should know that 1 atmosphere is equal to 1.013 10 to the power of 5 pascals, because we should convert the whole physical quantities into the same system of units. Therefore, it is 2 into 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5 pascals. Initial volume of the gas is 10 liters. V1 is equal to 10 liters. So, what we can write? This one as 10 into liters means 10 cube centimeter cube. Therefore, it is 10 into 10 cube into 1 centimeter is 10 power minus 2 meters. Centimeter cube means 10 power minus 2 whole cube meter cube. Therefore, it is 10 into 10 cube into 10 power minus 6 meter cube. Therefore, it is 10 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter cube. That's why it is 10 power minus 2 meter cube. This is the initial volume. Such like that, final volume V2 is equal to 20 liters. Therefore, it is 20 into 1 liter is equal to 10 cube centimeter cube. Again, we will do the same conversion, 20 into 10 cube into 10 power minus 6 meter cube. Therefore, 20 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube. This will become 2 into 10 power minus 2 meter cube. Initial volume is 1 into 10 power minus 2 meter cube. Final is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 2 meter cube. Therefore, work done W is equal to P into V2 minus V1, where P is 2 into 1.013 into 10 to the power of 5, where V2 is 2 into 10 power minus 2, where V1 is 1 into 10 power minus 2. So this is 2 into 1.013 will become 2.026 into 10 power 5 into 10 power minus 2. Therefore, it is 2.026 into 10 cube joules. It can be written as 2.026 kilojoules. So this is the work done during the expansion of a gas at constant pressure of 2 atmospheres from 10 liters to 20 liters.